When algorithms take over office jobs, the immediate worry is unemployment. But there's a deeper structural threat, a direct hit to the survival of the government itself. This document outlines the exact trajectory of the impending crisis. It tracks how replacing white-collar jobs cascades all the way down to a total restructuring of how wealth is distributed. Look at the basic financial engine of a modern nation in this model. The bulk of government revenue is fed directly through a massive pipeline of income taxes, supplied by high-earning, white-collar workers. Public services, infrastructure, and national defense all depend entirely on humans trading their cognitive labor for taxable wages. Now, introduce generative AI at a massive scale. Entire sectors of administrative, legal, and analytical roles are rapidly automated. Without paychecks, that income tax pipeline completely dries up. Suddenly, the state is left with a massive budget vacuum, trying to fund existing public services with a fraction of its historical tax base. This chart tracks the resulting deficit. To cover the shortfall, nations are forced to borrow, triggering a rapidly accelerating sovereign debt spiral. Left to run, algorithmic automation strips the state of its ability to remain solvent, threatening to bring public infrastructure to a complete halt. The money driving the economy hasn't vanished. The actual productivity remains intact, but the wealth has changed form. The economic value has migrated completely away from human labor and pools directly into corporate capital and AI ownership. The structural danger here is that our current tax codes are designed specifically to capture wages. They are highly inefficient at capturing this new concentration of corporate wealth. Corporations no longer have to pass their profits down to thousands of taxable employees. The wealth simply stays at the top. To avoid bankruptcy, governments face a major engineering problem. They have to build entirely new tax mechanisms to extract revenue from where it currently sits. The first structural requirement is a direct tax on AI profits and concentrated capital. Since you can no longer tax the employee's paycheck, the burden moves directly onto the commercial output of the machine itself and the corporation's bottom line. This leads to a highly targeted mechanism known as the robot tax. Under this model, companies pay a specific levy for every single human role they automate. This is calculated to directly replace the lost income tax that worker would have provided. Tax collection is only half the strategy. To stop the bleed, the state must aggressively shrink its own operating costs. Governments must deploy these exact same autonomous systems internally, cutting massive amounts of bureaucratic waste and shrinking their operating costs to match their new reality. National survival requires executing a simultaneous two-front strategy, aggressively taxing corporate AI efficiency while maximizing their own internal automation. If nations manage to reroute the wealth and balance their budgets, it leaves a massive demographic question. What do people actually do for work? The workforce will be forced to transition almost entirely into human-centered roles. These are jobs defined by deep empathy, physical care, and complex emotional connection, the remaining domains that algorithms cannot replicate. Human labor shifts away from cognitive tasks and data processing, pivoting fully toward emotional and physical caretaking. There is a mathematical limit to this transition. Empathy-driven labor alone cannot generate enough personal income to sustain the global population. The system relies on a final mechanism, an AI dividend, functioning as universal basic income. Watch how this diagram knots a final flow. The new revenue captured from corporate automation taxes is routed directly back to the public. This ensures the financial benefits of automated labor are distributed to citizens, rather than concentrated entirely in corporate treasuries. It forces a single structural question about the future of the economy. The automation revolution is a crisis of distribution, not employment. Modern society will only remain stable if we redesign our financial pipelines so that the answer to who receives the wealth is everyone.